and I heard about the Parliament of World Religions that was held recently in Salt Lake City. I really listened up because actually 10,000 world religious leaders and religious activists were in attendance, and my guest called it a barometer of where society is going. He also called it demonic spirituality. Now, without a doubt, it is one of the biggest interfaith events of the year and maybe the decade, and my guest says that it was an event working together for justice, peace, and sustainability. Carl Teichribb writes about it. He says, reading through the agendas was breathtaking. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of lectures, workshops, panels, rituals, films, concerts, and side events, and of course the main ceremonies and plenary sessions, numerous art displays, a labyrinth, and even sound stations where you could listen to Pope Francis' encyclical on ecology were available for Parliament attendees. There seemed to be no end of spiritually motivated activities. So one who attended, as I said, Carl Teichribb, he joins me for a short report on the Parliament of World Religions. Carl, welcome to the program.
Jen, it's good to be with you.
Carl, you said this was sort of a barometer of where society is going. Why is that?
Well, one of the main reasons I say that is because it recognized, the event itself and the people who participated recognize that society is changing, that society is moving away from the traditional belief structures of our past, and that, as Brian McLaren, who was one of the speakers that was in attendance, said to us, we have to reject the old story and form a new story. And so that's what this event was about. It was already demonstrating what the culture was accepting, what mainstream the Western world was already believing, and it was now channeling that, funneling that into something more palatable and something certainly more powerful, even at the level of saying now we can begin to influence policy and we can begin to influence denominations and the entire conversation of what it means to be religious.
Well, to be religious, not to really be spiritual. I mean, I guess there were 50 religious faiths represented, but no evangelical Christianity, correct?
Evangelical Christianity was not represented in an official capacity, no. But everything else was.
Right.
Progressive Christianity.
Progressive. Mm-hmm.
Catholicism, Mormonism. There was a lot of cults and pseudo-Christian cult movements that were there, including, of course, Mormonism. I didn't see the Jehovah's Witnesses, but, I mean, with 10,000 people and 50 different religions represented, you couldn't cover everything. It was just overwhelming in terms of the size and the scope and the energy of the place.
I watched some of this online. Some of it was on YouTube. It was extremely dark. It was extremely troubling to me. Okay, some of the issues that were covered, just some bullet points here. The divine feminine, climate change, of course, income redistribution, hate speech, social justice, sacredness of Mother Earth. Apparently Al Gore sent a message and his daughter was moderated part of the sessions. Would you want to pick up on any of those bullet points I just highlighted? What I saw online, Carl, a lot of the divine feminine, that's what I was watching on YouTube, and it was sickening, I have to say.
Well, and you know something, that's an important point we should really discuss, because you have such a huge variety of religious workshops and presentations to go to. You have to kind of pick and choose where you're going to attend and spend your time. I went to a lot that were based around the idea of reinvigorating the pagan worldview, reinstalling the pagan altars, along those lines. And so I went to the women's inaugural parliament, because the very first day was set up just for women and divine femininity. And then I attended the women's plenary, and the reason I did is because it fit hand in glove with the pagan element. And both the women's plenary and the women's parliament, which happened the day before, was loaded from end to end with the idea of reinstating the goddess, reconnecting with the goddess. In fact, in one of the main hallways that connected the ballrooms at the Salt Palace in Salt Lake City, they had hanging on the wall, and I counted, and I may have miscounted by one or two, but I counted 89 artistic depictions of the goddess in various forms, whether it was Isis or Diana or Kali. The list went on. It was really amazing how much energy was put toward the idea of focusing on the divine feminine, even to the point of singing songs of their goddess, Mother, Shakti of this earth, and then thousands thousands would sing back the same thing. It was kind of an ocean of esoteric estrogen.
Okay. What was Brian McLaren's message?
He gave one of the plenary talks during the climate change session. So he was there talking about how Mother Earth is crying to us, how Earth is singing to us, and now what we need to do is come together and create a new story. And he couched it by downplaying the Genesis account, the idea that man has been given dominion and stewardship over the earth, and saying now what we need to do is we need to find a new story that isn't going to put the focus on humanity over top of nature. I mean, Jan, what we were really doing was the whole Parliament was about building that new story. But the very fact that he couched it in the idea that the earth is crying, the earth is singing to us, it reinforced exactly what the women's plenary sessions and the women's sessions were about, which is this idea that we're here now to serve Mother Earth. We're here to be Mother Earth walking, and that's something that even I was told. You are Mother Earth walking. This side of it was very, very tangible.
So the gospel of environmentalism, that was huge.
Yes.
As it is everywhere now. How about United Nations involvement? Was there any?
There was some. In fact, I attended a workshop put together by the Zoroastrians and the Sikh community. They have formed a petition, and this is just the seed of an idea that was dropped into the Parliament. But they formed a petition to create a religious arm for the United Nations. And so the workshop was all about how now do we bring the energy together to do this, the networking that's necessary, and what will this religious arm of the United Nations look like. Again, it was only the seed of an idea, but this is important because these are the places where those ideas are birthed and then where they begin to come to fruition. Another workshop I went to was on the Earth Charter and the United Nations Development Agenda, where we had some of the leading people from the Earth Charter movement talk to us about how the Earth Charter can be used as a moral compass and become kind of a sacred trust for how the aspect of ecology could be better implanted within civilization and its involvement in shaping the mindset of the United Nations itself. So very, very key subject areas and very important players involved in those agendas, including Mary Evelyn Tucker, who was talking to us at the Earth Chart session. Again, this is this carryover between politics and religion at some of the more deeper levels.